Hello and welcome to English 101. This is the summer version of the course, which means it is an 8-week course that is normally an 18-week course. So we are going to be cramming all of the material in here, and it's going to seem a little intensive at times, but I am sure that all of you can do it. I have scheduled it so that you only have homework on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. By the way, my name is Steph Laska. I'll be your instructor for the course, and you will be getting these videos from me every Monday. And I do recommend that you read them, watch them within 2 to 3 days of me sending it out, because all of the information I'm going to be giving you in these videos is going to be applicable to the information that you're supposed to be completing for the week. A couple of quick things in the welcome letter. If you didn't read it already, you definitely need to. This is really important. It has a lot of information in there. How to contact me via email, which is the best way since I have it on my phone. Also, the fact that the PDF, Steps to Writing Well, is the book. It's available on my portal for free. You do not need to buy a hard copy of the book at all, so just make sure that you're aware of that. As far as technology requirements, this is really important. You need reliable access to internet. This is an online class, and if you don't have reliable access to internet at all times, it's going to be very hard for you to be successful. So make sure that you have that access. If not, you might have to go to a public library. You might consider coming to Lake Area's library. You might consider going to a public place with Wi-Fi, but regardless, you have to have reliable access to internet, as well as reliable access to Lake Area's email. So you should be checking your email at least daily. I will be sending you random updates throughout the week if something changes, and things are likely to change. I'll be sending you information about the course, also the videos, any group feedback that I need to give you, etc. So make sure that you're checking that daily. You need access to my portal, the Panopto videos, youtube.com. We're probably going to be sticking with YouTube for the most part for the videos. Sometimes Panopto can get a little bit glitchy for some people depending on the browser, so we're just going to stick with YouTube for the most part. Turnitin.com, and then Lake Area Tech's library resources, which I'm going to show you in a later video. Additionally, I wanted to let you know, and I've already kind of mentioned this just a second ago, but this is what your schedule is going to look like most weeks. Mondays at the start of the week, I'm going to be giving out new materials, handing out the weekly assessments, and that's going to be open for you to work, as well as Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Those are going to be open work days. Nothing's going to be due on those days. Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays is when things are going to be due for you, so make sure you're paying attention to those assignment due dates. If it's on my portal, it'll be due at 11:55 p.m. If it is due on Turnitin, and it will say that on my portal. If it's a major sketch paper, so sketch 1 or sketch 2 for the process analysis, if it's a peer review, or if it's a major first or final draft, those will be due on Turnitin.com. And you will need to upload those materials there. Now, additionally, you need to be familiar with my portal, and I've listed some of the different things that we'll use in my portal. Coursework's a big one. That's the home page that you're taken to. Discussion forums is a secondary location you can access the weekly forums. The grade book, you're going to need to check your grades periodically so that you know where you're at in the course. The resources is where all course materials will be. So if there's PDFs, that's where the syllabus is at, that's where the welcome letter is at, that's where the Steps to Writing Well documents are at. So just make sure that you're looking at resources. Those will be updated weekly. And your syllabus, which is where you can obviously access that course syllabus in a secondary location. For the important things that you have to do within the first week in order to stay in the class and not be dropped by this Wednesday, as this is the drop date, you need to post your introduction in the first week's discussion topic under coursework, introduce yourself. You need to take the 20-point syllabus quiz, and you need to enroll in our class in Turnitin.com. If you have not done this, you need to email me immediately, because you risk being dropped from the course on Wednesday. So now I do want to take you into my portal so that you are aware of how to get there. So you're going to click on, once you go to lakearea.edu, lakeareatech.edu, excuse me, you're going to click on my portal up here, and then you're going to go to our class page. So I'm already logged in. You'll have to log in with your credentials. And you'll go into my courses, and you'll go into English 101.0. Now, this is what it's going to look like to you. We've already completed week 1, which you didn't have a lot of work because it was a short week. Week 2 is going to be a little bit heavier on the reading. This is our process analysis introduction. So not only are we getting an introduction on the writing process, we're getting an introduction on the process analysis, which is the first paper we're going to complete. What I would like you to do is read the process analysis assignment prompt. This is under resources, but also if you click on this assignment, it will be attached to the actual assignment in coursework. So be aware of that. You can click to return to your assignment list, and then you're also going to be reading what a process analysis actually is. And this is a PDF that's coming from a different version of the book, and you can click on that PDF, download it to your computer, and access what a process analysis is. And there is also a student example. Well, the student example is not exactly what I'm looking for. It's a good starting point for you to understand kind of what that might look like for you. If you go back to that assignment list, you have another reading and pre-writing. You have to read the the writing process presentation on the Purdue OWL website. This website is going to be imperative for you to know and be able to access and understand how to use. I'm going to click on this really quick and show you where to go in order to get that. So this link may or may not actually take us there. Nope. You're going to be highlighting this link and putting it directly into your browser. And once you do that, it's going to take you to the Purdue OWL process, writing process presentation page. And this is a short little I guess it's kind of a PowerPoint within a web page of how the writing process works, and it's going to give you a lot of really good information. I do expect you guys to read through this entire PowerPoint, and I also expect you guys to understand how to access anything and everything on this page. This is the major formatting page that we're going to be using for MLA format. If there's anything that confuses you in this, we're going to primarily be using the MLA guide. I'm going to click on this right here quickly. And primarily we're going to be using electronic sources. So if you use this table over here to access the different types of sources you might be using, it's going to show you how to cite websites. It's also going to show you how to format your papers. So if you go to MLA Formatting and Style Guide, it will give you examples of what you should be thinking about using and what the different definitions are for what the titles might be and how those look in the actual citations. So just make sure that you're familiarizing yourself with this page, because that's going to come in handy, and not only is it going to come in handy, your grade will be dependent on knowing how to use this page. So that's very, very important. You might want to bookmark it. Additionally, you are going to want to be reading the thesis statement, the body paragraphs, anything in parentheses. That means that's the page number that it's found on in the PDF. Only the PDF version am I giving you page numbers for. Also, the STWW obviously stands for Steps to Writing Well. If it is not in Steps to Writing Well, it will say PDF instead, and that will be found under Resources. As I mentioned, you're going to view the MLA Purdue OWL website for all formatting questions. Once again, you can copy and paste this into your browser and access it that way. And finally, you're going to have an MLA citation quiz on Wednesday, which means that you're going to need to be able to access this page and complete that citation quiz at the same time. You are able to have the page open as you're doing your MLA citation quiz. It will be basically, I give you some examples, I give you the information, and you have to create the works cited citation for me. Additionally, you're going to have a reading quiz on Wednesday, which is over all of these readings, so make sure you're reading carefully. You are able to access your readings while you're taking the quiz, but it will be helpful and much easier for you if you just read ahead of time instead of skimming as you go, because then you're going to get a lot more out of the reading. And I do expect you guys to practice active reading, which is skimming, highlighting, and then reading it once through just for comprehension, and afterwards taking notes in the margins, maybe print off some of the readings. I know sometimes, well, actually there's been studies done that say that people reading a physical copy of something actually has better retention rates in the material than reading it on a screen, so keep that in mind as well. Then that'll all be due Wednesday. Then we're coming up on Friday. You'll need to read transition words and phrases to using a variety of transition devices and Steps to Writing Well. You'll also have to read this beginnings and endings piece and To Bid the World Farewell, which is a short article on Steps to Writing Well. To Bid the World Farewell is actually a process analysis on embalming, so be prepared to be maybe a little bit grossed out, maybe a little freaked out. It is about death and dying, so it's a little bit of a different type of a process analysis, but most students find it it intriguing, if not kind of strange and interesting. So be aware that that's coming. There will be a forum due on To Bid the World Farewell, as well as a reading quiz on these 2 readings. Those will be due on Friday. For the forum, the assignment directions are listed when you click on the actual assignment. So you're not going to be able to see other people's posts before you post first, and you have to post 100 words minimum in the initial post, and then you're going to write 50 words minimum in response to 2 different peers. So you're going to write 50 words to one peer and 50 words to another. And I've provided a few questions for you for your initial post, as well as some questions for your peers and how to go ahead and participate in that forum. We're going to go back. Also, I'm going to have you guys read a student example of a process analysis. Now, this was a student example that one of my students had completed last semester. Be aware that the source requirements were a little bit different. He only has 2 sources. You are going to be required to have 4 because we have to shorten this class up so much. I need you to get comfortable with using sources a lot earlier in the game, which also means that you don't have to write a second paper. You only have 2, or a third paper. You only have 2. So you will see that difference, but this is an A paper, an A example, so hopefully that'll give you an idea of kind of what I'm looking for, as well as the first process analysis sketch 1 assignment, which is going to be a topic proposal that will be due for you on turnitin.com. If you click on this assignment here, you'll have access to that in the actual assignment, and all I need you to do is download that and follow those questions. You're going to want to put this in MLA format. I'm going to click on this so I can show you kind of what it looks like. But ultimately, you're going to choose a topic you'd like to explore in your process analysis and create that topic proposal based on the following questions. What is the process you're trying to explain? Why is it important? What's your working thesis? You should know what a working thesis is by the end of this week, because you're going to do some readings on it. I've created a sample thesis for you. What are some of the steps in the process? Why is each major step important? And what skills or equipment are needed for this? You're going to have to offer clear descriptions. This is going to be 250 to 350 words. It's in MLA format, which means it's double-spaced, Times New Roman in size 12. If you have any MLA formatting questions, you will find that on the MLA Purdue OWL website, what I've already showed you, and that's a part of why this week it's going to be very important that you become familiar with that website. And then finally, it will be due on turnitin.com. Now, if we actually go into turnitin.com, many of you have already accessed that page and logged in and enrolled. You are going to have to make sure that you're uploading the actual document as a Word file or a PDF. And we're in English 101 Summer. Our process analysis assignments are already in here, so I can't actually show you what it would look like from a student view, but you'll click on it. There will be a button over here that says Submit. It'll take you through a list of options in order to upload your paper. Make sure after you upload, you actually click the Submit button and confirm it, because otherwise it will not upload and it will be considered late. And as I don't accept late papers, it will be entered in as a 0 even though you've completed it. So make sure you're following all instructions. Following instructions is going to be very, very important in this class, not only because we are rushing through it at an exponential rate, but partially because following instructions is a skill that you need to know when you get into the workforce and start actually doing whatever job it is that you've decided to pursue. Also, you'll take a look. We have a couple of big assignments that I've already listed for week 3 and week 4, so you can look ahead. Your final draft of your process analysis will be due in week 4. You'll have a peer review of that assignment in week 4. Your first draft will be due in week 3, and then that second sketch, which will be an outline of the paper, so you're not having to jump right into writing this paper. You'll be able to kind of plan it out a little bit. That will be due week 3, so that should help you exponentially. If some of you mentioned that you have a lot of anxiety in writing papers, I get it. I was there once too, and a lot of the things that help us in writing is actually the pre-writing stages, the topic proposals, the outlining, and figuring out what it is that we're actually trying to write. So that's this week in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please be sure to email me, and I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Thanks for watching.